Today on Borgerat's RC Tips. I'm gonna show you how you can fit that WPL C14 C24 all aluminum bumper on your K10 Fcx18. So I'm gonna start by removing it, showing you what I did, and I've got another brand new bumper and we're gonna do the other one together. So I'm gonna remove the two screws I put there at the original place. The only difference is that they are longer and I used M2 screws, so the other one was a plastic thread pitch. So these are machine pitch, but they hold very nice since they're a tad bigger. So I'm gonna remove it. There we go. I'm gonna set this truck aside. And what I did is, you can see the finish is not that good, but it doesn't show. What I did is I removed material here. I cut the original tabs. I drilled two holes, M3 holes. I put M3 screws in them and then put brass standoff, M3 brass standoffs. And I drilled them on that side too, remove a little material on the side so that it can fit. So what you need to achieve that is, of course, a bumper. So I've got a brand new one straight from AliExpress. I ordered these two, but for some reason they were shipped separately, and the two of them cost me $10 for both Canadian, so very cheap. So you're gonna be able to see the comparison. So you get the upper part, so, and the hardware, the shackles, which cannot move because of that machining. So I'm going to toss that aside, that cutter too. So I don't know if you can see the difference, but I removed material here. I kept the same radius and I just chop a little material here. And of course I cut these tabs. And at the same height of the already present hole, threaded hole. I think it's M1 2.5 this one, but I use M3s. So I put them there, and that's basically what I did, and it fits perfectly. And you can adjust how deep it goes in the truck. You just have to turn these and adjust it like you want. So I'm gonna toss this one aside too, but we're gonna keep it closed because we're gonna take some measures on it. So what you need M3 by 10 millimeters brass hex standoff. You need two of them. Then you'll need M3 by 12 or longer screws. These I cut them to 10 millimeters long because I misplaced my assortment, but I have an assortment just like that of brass standoffs, and I have an assortment of screws. These ones are stainless, so you need is M3 by 12 or longer, it doesn't matter, but at least M3 by 12, 3 by 12. So two of these. You're gonna need an M3 tap, and to tap it properly you're gonna need a 2.5 millimeter drill. A drill press, you can do it with a cordless drill or something like that, but it's hard to keep your hole square. So if you have a press drill, is very much preferred. And to remove aluminum material, you can use a grinder or a sander, a Dremel, a file if you're patient, and even a metal saw. But I find that I have much more control with my Makita, my big grinder here, cordless, because this cordless turns a little less faster than the corded one. So I use this one. You're gonna need to do a proper assembly, some blue Loctite. You're gonna need like these. It was in a parts bin, but these are M2 by 8 screws to screw the bumper on the truck. So you're gonna need all 2 of them. And for easier machining and to have a more precise measure, I'm gonna show you. You're gonna need a Sharpie, and it's a good buy. Buy a cheap one so you don't mind if you scratch it, but buy a cheap digital caliper. It's very useful. I use it a lot when and it's not a Mitutoyo. It's not high quality, and maybe it's $20. And I use it a lot when I measure parts to draw in 3D to make some 3D print objects, 3D print files. So that's about it for the hardware you need. So I'm going to use the one I did with trial and error. Since we have this one that fit very, very well, I'm going to give you some measures. So I'm going to take that. So it's zeroed in millimeters. So I'm going to take the measure. It's about the same. Yeah. So let's say 2.70. Yeah. So 2.70. That was my notes. So I'm going to use that corner. 2.70. So that's good. And the other measures we're going to need, I'm going to readjust it later, but it's going to be easier if I remove those. So we're going to need those measures. They're practically in line with that notch, but there are a little bit inside. And to do that, I don't know where I put my original bumper, but you only have to put your original plastic bumper holes, and you're going to see where they come. So what I did was I mainly focus on these tabs and just slide a little off. I'm going to give you the measure center to center. So it's about 32. Maybe a little shy of 32. So that's 32. Yeah, 32 should fit. So I'm going to grind these. Oh yeah, and the thing with the Sharpie, just put some black there. And that's why I said use a cheap caliper. I'm going to retake that measure that was 2.70, but since we have it here, so 2.70. I'm going to lock it. Then you can use the ridge there and just make a little mark there. It's a soft metal, aluminum, so don't worry about your cheap caliper. It won't hurt it. There you go. So I'm going to use my big grinder here, and I'm going to grind it until I see the mark. Try to keep as flat as I can and cut these 2 tabs. So just back from outside, there's still some water from the snow I cooled it with on it. Looks like this one, and just double check if it fits properly, and this one seems to fit very nice, and it's going to be a little bit recessed when we're finished. So that's one step here. So you'll be able to remove all the Sharpie marker at the end. Now we're gonna blacken here. Here we go. I'm gonna take the same, because it was a good height at that placement. So about 2 millimeter with that groove as a reference. So I'm gonna mark it. Same thing here. Mark it. And it's almost about where the mark ends that I'm going to start the hole. So I'm going to put the camera on the press drill, just showing you exactly what I did. So we're about to tap it. So I just use vice grips because it's not crucial, and it doesn't get in the way. You can get some small handles, but I don't have one handy. It's in the shed, and as you saw on the grinding part of the video, it's cold outside, there's snow, so I don't bother. I did the other one with the vice grips too. So I just put a little dab of oil, and although the aluminum is a softer metal than brass, I find it harder to thread. You need to back up often to break the chips. If not, you're not gonna have nice threads. So always do that back and forth. Sometimes you can remove it all, so you can clean the chips. We have a rag here. There we go. And you tap it far enough. It doesn't have to be all the way through, but these bumpers are all aluminum, so I drilled a hole pretty far so I don't encounter any chip blockage, or even if your tap is not a, because the first threads are to start, and if you don't have a finished tap, it'll work also. So I'm gonna clean it, start it straight, back it, continue, back it, continue, back it, continue, back it, and so on and so on. Well, that seems far enough. I'm just gonna recheck the other side. Yeah, there should be plenty of thread to be more than heavy duty enough for these little RC rigs. Oh yeah, there we go. So if it doesn't go well, back it off, go straight in again, and these seem pretty, yeah, pretty straight. Maybe my press drill was a tad off, but it should be straight enough. So next step, I'm going to clean that up very quickly. I still have some good brake cleaner. I don't know if you are aware of that, but here in Canada, they changed the formula, and the new formula is garbage. It's for not polluting, but it doesn't clean anything. So since I removed, I'm going to do a little bit more there, just to remove the cutting oil. There we go. Now, yeah, I didn't say you need 2 nuts, but I'm going to show you a good use of the 2 nuts. There we go. So I'm going to put them in first. Those M3 by 12 millimeter long bolts. So when I'm going to cut the tab here, I'm going to be able to unscrew the bolt so it will clean the threads. I'm going to do it with the other one. And as I'm thinking, I'm going to turn off the truck because it's still on since the beginning. There we go. Turn it off. Turn the remote off too. Okay. Continue that. I was hearing it click, so better for the batteries. Now I'm going to clean the bench a bit just to be clearer. We don't need that anymore. Oh, yeah, maybe. Yeah, we'll soon. Okay, so I'm gonna put some Loctite on them. For this application, oh, I'm getting low on Loctite. You can also use red Loctite, should do, because you will not remove those ever. So for these, I'm gonna need a 2mm X drive. I'm gonna tighten them. There we go. Yeah, I think my blue Loctite is getting low. Oh no, there's still some. So thread the other one there. So I'm gonna back off these, maybe tighten them a little bit, just so they won't wiggle off when I'm gonna cut these with my grinder. So I'm gonna cut these flush there off camera. You can use a Dremel for precise, but there. So yeah, if I cut straight at the head, I'm gonna have enough threads for the rest. So I'm gonna do that off camera, and I'm gonna come back soon. So I'm gonna put my cap on. So freshly cut, I'm gonna use those little, these are useful tools too. Locking pliers. There we go. So when you back them off, and with the Loctite, just take your time, and you're gonna have great threads there. And if you find that you have to remove a little bit more material, put the nut back on, grind it, remove it. So the other part will be to turn these into these. What I did is I grind down a little bit of the edge, well, not the pointy part of the hex, so these flats can sit right there without damaging the plastic. So I'm gonna show you with the marker. So grind on that edge, not the flat, but the edge on the opposite side, not too much, because so grind one side here, one side here. So I'm going to do it off camera in the vise. It's going to be easier, and I don't want to install the camera back on. You know how it goes. I'm going to put it on the vise like that on the top, grind that part, turn it 180 degrees, grind that part. So they're both grind. They should fit properly. There we go. Both. So now that they're grind, we're going to drill a hole like that. Not where we grind it, but on the top. And since I already made some here that works well, I'm going to give you a measure. I'm going to unlock it, zeroed, center to the edge, 2 millimeters. so I can lock it. Can do the Sharpie trick on that too. I'm gonna use the side I didn't grind. There we go. And you mark it like that. Like that. So center of that flat of the hex on that. You can go through, but if you do it freehand, do both sides, because like I did this one, I didn't do both sides and it shifted. It still works, but it makes cleaner holes. So this one too, gonna mark it. I'm gonna use a good side near the truck. Like I said, I misplaced my assortment, so I had to cut longer one I had on my bench to make that video, but that's okay. So holes are there. So the 1/16 fit on my big Makita drill. Sometimes you need an adapter chop for tinier drills. It still grabs. All right. Maybe I can do it freehand right here. Or maybe not. Yeah, maybe I'm gonna do it on the press drill. So didn't have to use a press drill, just the flat on the bench without a camera in my way. So these are better than my previous ones. And maybe I was not resting right on my press drill. So these are a little crooked, but they seem to be about the same. So let's see how they fit. If not, we can still make some tiny adjustment on those brass sleeves. So not to worry there. So screw them on. And that's the beauty of it. You don't have to put Loctite on this side, because when they're screwed in the notch, they'll stay there. Yeah, it's a bit crooked. I'm gonna see. Oh yeah, it still goes. Very nice. So the holes are there. Oh, that's pretty neat. I'm gonna reuse those screws. And my driver here. So like I said, the original screws are formed for plastic, and these are machine screws. So the first time you're gonna put them, just take your time. They're gonna bite. It's gonna be good. And if you want to put back the original bumper, you can, but use those tiny M2 screws. So that's about it. You can see the fit is nice. Maybe I can screw them one turn more on this side, so it's going to be even, but you can see, oh, you can see it aligns very well. Both sides here are good. Yeah, it's a little, so I'm gonna show it to you. I'm gonna see the end result. No cheating here. So this side I'm gonna screw a half turn. Let's see how it will be. So half turn, put the screw back on there. Come on. It's always longer with the camera in your way, but I like to share those tips because I enjoy building them so much, and sometimes you just need to have the idea. Another guy, I don't remember his name, gave me, well, I saw that on Facebook. this bumper, but you use a different method. But with grinding this and this, I think the fit is perfect. And look, you lose a bit of approach angle, but look, it's flush. With those measures, it's flush on the body, and it looks nice. Oh, yeah, that's it. It only need a half turn. It doesn't scratch the body. Maybe I could use a little. No, it's clearing. And the front there. Oh, perfect. So I hope you enjoyed it, and happy RCing, guys.